I was sitting at the beach, under a palm tree, my feet covered with sand. It was early in the morning. I saw a group of people far away while I was listening to a podcast. Welcome under the baobab tree. My name is Amma, and in this podcast we explore everything about personal and spiritual growth. See it as a moment where we are sitting under the baobab tree with a cup of tea or whatever you like, whether you're driving, walking, or on the way somewhere, in the gym, doing the dishes, or just consciously sitting somewhere. We are here together. You can find more about me and how you can work with me at my website, ammabuachi.com. You will find the link in the show notes. And I also want to share shortly that if you have a dream or idea or project that you want to bring into the world, but you haven't started yet, I have a beautiful free inspiration guide with 9 ways how you can start working on that idea or dream. So go and check it out in the show notes. So today's episode, is it me or is it we? I was sitting at a beach, as I said, and I was listening to a podcast. And the episode of that podcast I was listening to was about, let's say, business and how you can upscale your business to eventually have more money and even reach financial freedom. The examples around these topics often are, let's say you are a massage therapist. Well, now you earn money for every massage you do. To upscale your business, you can teach groups how to do massages, or you can start your own massage practice with people under you, etc., etc. When I hear something like that, I always have questions, because what if every massage therapist wants to have their own massage business with people working under them? Does this idea still work then? And what if the massage therapist is the happiest when she can give her full attention to one person for an hour? Will she be happy managing a business with people under her? It actually changes the function of her job, right? Will she like to teach? So always when I hear these things, something doesn't click or doesn't feel right, and I still can't pinpoint it, what it is. And for some people, of course, that's an excellent way of working, but not for everyone. And while I was sitting at the beach, the men that originally were far away were way closer. I saw they were holding a rope that ended in the sea. Another group of men, also with a rope, were coming from the right side. And little by little, the two groups joined together. They sang beautifully together to create a rhythm, so they knew when to pull. It was something like, I mean, I can't reproduce the sound, but it was so beautiful how they sang together. As I was sitting there, I had stopped listening to the podcast episode and I just let myself be mesmerized by what I was observing. These fishermen were working hard, together, and it took time. Some little boys were helping their uncles and fathers. And at the end of the line of men pulling the rope out of the sea, there was someone attaching the rest of the rope around a tree. Some women arrived with empty bowls, waiting for the fish to come. Some of them helping too. What a beautiful collective labor to get fish for the community. And when the fish arrived to the shore, they were almost like diamonds, glistening because of the sun shining on them. Oh, it was so beautiful. They removed the fish from the nets and shared it around. After this, people went their own way. So they were away, they were gone, and I was still sitting there, taking everything in. I felt a clash happening in my head between the podcast episode I had listened to and what I had just observed. I knew this way of fishing was old, that my ancestors had been doing it for years, and that it was a beautiful practice that continued until today. I felt the truth in my bones. Being together, working together, using movement, rhythm, and song, collective labor, everyone having its share, taking as long as it needed, having time, taking care of one another, every day again. It reminded me of these 2 different sayings that I heard once. The first one is, if everyone takes care of themselves, we will all be fine. And the second one is, if everyone takes care of everyone, we will all be fine. I find it so beautiful. So interesting also. And I believe a combination of both would be beautiful. But in this world, we have the tendency to go to one or the other. And so I thought again about the podcast episode I'd listened to, which was from a woman living in Europe, or was it the US? I don't really remember now. But I wondered, how could these people apply what she said? How could they upscale, earn more money, have more freedom? Because yes, maybe the owner of the fishing nets or some people who fished longer got a bigger share, but it was still a collective labor. Or maybe a bigger fisher boat or something where you can fish with fewer people could help upscaling. But I couldn't leave but wonder, why? Why would that be something we would want to do? It would mean the destruction of coming together, singing ancient songs, and taking care of one another. It would mean stopping to honor this old practice, a practice that works. It would break the sacredness of this practice. It would become more like taking care of oneself, so I would have more for myself. And don't get me wrong, it's good to have ambition and grow and wanting to have more. I'm all for financial freedom and what comes with it. I think I'm just wondering how we could have this collectively, together, in our collective work instead of individual. And this is not an episode where I figured it out. It's more a philosophical share under the baobab tree. And I'm actually really curious to also hear from you, so really feel free to reach out to me. I will put my email address in the show notes. Yeah, because this is a dynamic that runs in our societies. How much do I do for myself? And how much do I do for others? And in which way? And this is actually not even only about having a business and upscaling and financial freedom and all these things. It's just in general, this question of how much do I do for myself and how much do I do for others? But yeah, talking about this topic, for example, yes, you can be rich and support a lot of NGOs or charities. And this is not a judgment because I'm grateful, of course, for people who support others in that way. But is that really together? What about the collective labor, the movement, and the songs then? And do we, as a person, need to have more? Or is it maybe good enough how it is right now? I think we can sometimes block ourselves in thinking we want more or need more, in thinking we need to do it alone to have more. And also, what is more? Is more only money? What if more is also social connection, laughter, love, togetherness, time, and energy? What you need and what you want is, of course, very personal. And, of course, we want to have enough resources, money, time, and energy to live our lives. But I just often wonder, is chasing more and more, or upscaling, or doing things individually the way? I also ask myself these questions, in my own life. Growing up in Belgium, where it is more an individualistic society, and living in Ghana now, where it is still more a communal society, or where I live now at least, I see the advantages and disadvantages of both sides. And I wonder, what is the way forward? What is the way? Is it me or is it we? And instead of trying to answer it, I leave this question open because I don't know. I leave it open as a searching. I believe it's beautiful to not always have the answers and to leave questions open. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please reach out with your own thoughts. My email address is info@amaboache.com. I will put it in the show notes. And I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts about everything I just shared? I really would love to talk about this a bit more. And if you feel like, I know someone who would love this episode, or you just want to share it on your social media or something, please do so. it helps other people also find this podcast. The same if you would give some beautiful stars on Spotify or you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It's just amazing how that helps for other people to find this podcast. And that makes me so happy. And if you are curious in working with me or you want to be more up to date, check the show notes and you'll find your way. Thank you so much for listening, and until the next, bye-bye.